Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to today's roundup. I've got 4 stories for you today, starting with Red Bull's search for a new power unit. Now, as I'm sure you all know by now, Honda is set to withdraw from Formula 1 at the end of the 2021 season, and that has left Red Bull chasing a new supplier for 2022. At the Nurburgring, Mercedes ruled out any deal with Red Bull, and Ferrari appeared to echo that sentiment, although fell short of giving a definitive no, with Binotto instead saying he would give it some thought. Out of the current suppliers, that would leave just Renault, and as per the regulations, the French manufacturer would be asked to provide units to Red Bull should the team be unable to strike a deal by June the 1st next year. However, according to Helmut Marko, Red Bull's preferred option is to take on the Honda IP rights, that's the intellectual property rights, but only if the FIA agrees to an engine freeze from the start of 2022, so that the team was not put in the position of having to develop the units itself. Speaking to Sport 1 in Germany, Marko said, "We would favour, provided the talks with Honda are positive, that we take over the IP rights and everything that is necessary to then prepare and deploy the engines ourselves in Milton Keynes. But this is only possible on condition that the engines are frozen by the first race in 2022 at the latest. We cannot afford further development neither technically nor financially." Marko elaborated on why the team's preference was to buy the Honda IP rather than a supply of customer engines, stating that Red Bull's chances of fighting for a title would be compromised if they went back down the customer route. Engine manufacturers have their own team, and that means they develop the engine around their chassis. We would get something where we would have to adapt our chassis and ideas secondary, and would be confronted with a solution we would have to accept. Sticking with Red Bull, more specifically AlphaTauri, and Yuki Tsunoda is set to get behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car as he will test a 2018 spec car following the race at Imola in November. Prior to Honda's decision to leave Formula 1, Tsunoda, who is backed by the Japanese manufacturer as part of its Formula Dream project, had been linked to a seat with AlphaTauri for 2021, but following Honda's announcement, Tsunoda's chances of making it to Formula 1 reportedly took a blow. However, as it turns out, that isn't the case, and Franz Tost has insisted that the driver decisions at Red Bull are based on pure talent, and Tsunoda is still very much in the running for a 2021 seat. Speaking to F1 TV, the AlphaTauri boss said, "The Red Bull philosophy is not to bring a driver to AlphaTauri because of political reasons. A driver comes to AlphaTauri because of his sporting success. It has nothing to do whether Honda continues or not." Tsunoda is doing a fantastic job in F2. He won 2 races, and in Austria in wet conditions he was leading for a long time, and because of a radio problem, he finished only 2nd. He has the natural speed, he has the skills, and the rest. We will see. So, AlphaTauri are very much behind Tsunoda, so that's 1 box ticked. But on top of that, the Japanese driver also needs to gain enough points to qualify for a super license if he is to race in F1 next year. But Tost also confirmed that the plan is to give him a 300km test at Imola, and that would give him the points necessary to take part in an FP1 session later this year. And on top of that, the team also aims to run Tsunoda in the young driver test that follows the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It should also be noted at this point that a finish of 5th or higher in the F2 Championship this year would give Tsunoda the points needed to grab that licence, and he currently sits 3rd on 147 points. That's just 7 clear of Mazepin in 6th with 2 races to go. Moving on, and Cyril Abiteboul has said that he takes the blame for Daniel Ricciardo's decision to leave the team at the end of the year. Now, back in the spring, which feels like forever ago, the Aussie was announced as a McLaren driver for 2021, which at the end of this season would bring to an end a 2-year stay with the Enstone team. 2019 was a tough year for Renault, but things have definitely taken a turn for the better this season, with the team right in the fight for a top 3 finish in the Constructors' Championship, and last time out, Ricciardo gave Renault its first podium since 2011. Its first podium as Renault since 2011. Of course, the Enstone team won a race and often made it to the podium as Lotus in 2013. But speaking to French media about Ricciardo's exit, Abiteboul said, "It blew me away to hear him announce his departure because this winter I felt the car had potential. The pandemic stopped everything, but I blame myself for not having been able to show Daniel what was the true potential of our project." The Renault boss also spoke about the emotional moment Ricciardo stood on the podium at the Nurburgring, but unsurprisingly added that that was not the end of the story and the team was targeting more in the future, stating that Renault needs to become addicted to success. And finally, Romain Grosjean had a strong outing last time out of the Nurburgring and managed to pick up his first points of the season, courtesy of a 9th place finish. However, Gunther Steiner has insisted that that result will not have any influence on the team's driver lineup decision for 2021. As of right now, Haas is yet to confirm any drivers for next season, and the contracts of both Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen expire at the end of 2020. The team has been linked with the likes of Sergio Perez, Callum Ilott, Nico Hülkenberg and Nikita Mazepin, as well as possibly keeping hold of both of its current drivers. And as if those names weren't enough, Steiner says the team has a list of 10 drivers to consider for 2021. It is expected, though, that at least one of the current Haas drivers will be replaced at the end of the year, and despite a very solid display in Germany, Steiner has played down any suggestion that Grosjean's performance could impact on the team's driver decision. We cannot be this emotional that we go from race to race and decide on and off. As I always said, it's a decision for the long term, not for the short term, and I don't want to fall into that trap. I stay very stable on that one, it's what I always said. We want to evaluate how can the team perform, or how we think the team will perform best, with which drivers in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. As for when any decision on drivers will be made, Steiner has been clear that he does not expect any movement on their plans for a while, so as ever with the F1 driver market, it's a case of watch this space. But what do you guys think? Who are you expecting Haas to announce its drivers for 2021? You can let me know your thoughts on that and indeed any of the stories featured today down in the comment section. That is it for this video though, but I will be back with another video soon, assuming the FOM bots chill out a bit. But anyway, in the meantime, you can of course follow me over on social media, and all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.